Okay, I want you to picture a specific moment. It's, I don't know, a Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
You've just finished washing the dishes.
Right.
The house is quiet, maybe a little too quiet, because the kids aren't running through the hallway anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You sit down, finally have a moment to yourself, and instead of relief, you feel it.
The pinch.
The pinch, exactly. It's not pain, not really. It's not even sadness. It's just this nagging, sort of persistent sensation in your chest that says, hey, we're forgetting something.
Mm-hmm.
It's the feeling that there is some other version of you waiting in the wings, just tapping its foot, checking its watch, asking, is it my turn yet?
That is such a visceral description, and it lands us right in the middle of the stack of materials we're covering today.
It really does.
We are doing a deep dive into the work of Marie-Nadine Gaston, specifically her book Dream Seekers, but also her goal-setting guides and even the technical breakdown of her coaching program.
And before anyone tunes out thinking, oh, this is just another live your best life pep talk,
Yeah.
you have to hold on.
Yeah.
Because what really struck me about Gaston's work isn't the cheerleading, it's the mechanics. She's built a methodology, a whole system, specifically for people, mostly women, mostly empty nesters,
Right.
who have spent 20 years being the CEO of the household and have suddenly been fired because the employees all grew up and moved out.
Fired is a tough way to put it, but psychologically, that's so accurate. You lose the daily operational tasks that literally defined your identity.
Exactly.
And Gaston's work is all about pivoting from that role into what she calls the second wind.
But she doesn't start with a solution. She starts with that feeling I mentioned, the pinch. Reading through her intro, I was surprised by how much weight she puts on this one sensation.
She has to.
She treats it almost like a medical symptom.
Because most people treat the pinch as a nuisance, right? They think it's just anxiety or boredom or, just the quiet finally settling in.
Yeah, that's just life now.
But Gaston argues that the pinch is actually a signal. It's data. It's your subconscious telling you that your potential is, well, suffocating. Suffocating? That feels heavy. But when you look at Gaston's backstory, you realize she isn't using that word lightly.
No.
We have to talk about her history, because this isn't someone who just decided to write a self-help book on a whim. Her entire philosophy is a reaction to her father.
It is a fascinating and really complex psychological profile.
Mm-hmm.
She grew up in Haiti, and her father was, let's just call him a man of contradictions.
A huge understatement.
On the one hand, he was incredibly controlling of her mother. I mean, he wouldn't let his wife work, wouldn't let her have any real independence.
So Gaston grew up watching her mother exist in this tiny, confined box.
Yeah, and there's a phrase in the text that, it made me stop reading for a second. Gaston describes watching her mother's life as witnessing a slow death.
A slow death. It's just brutal.
It's a brutal image.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a physical death, it was the death of agency, the death of the self. But here's the twist that just messes with my head. That same father, the one who kept his wife in a cage, looked at his daughter, Marie-Nadine, and gave her a completely different set of instructions.
He essentially told her, don't be like the woman I married.
Right.
He pushed her to get an education. He demanded she become financially autonomous. He drilled it into her head, never, ever depend on a man.
Can you imagine the pressure of that? You're the chosen one. You're the one who has to break this generational curse, but you're being told to do it by the very person who created the curse for your own mother.
It creates a massive drive to succeed, of course, but it also creates a very specific script. And Marie-Nadine followed that script perfectly.
AOT.
She went into international development. She became a total workaholic, built the career, made the money, achieved the autonomy. She did everything her father asked.
Until the script ran out.
The classic inciting incident. A project lost its funding, her job just evaporated. And suddenly, she's standing there, the kids are older, her job is gone, and she realizes she's been running on someone else's fuel for decades.
And that's when the pinch turned into, a shove.
A full-on shove, yeah. She had this secret dream of writing and starting an online business, something she'd wanted since she was a kid.
Buried it, though.
Oh, completely. Buried it under responsibility. And this brings us to the core tenet of her whole second wind idea. Gaston argues that once a woman has raised her children, she has paid her dues. She's paid her dues to society, to family. She has earned the right to be selfish.
Selfish is a loaded word, though, isn't it?
It is, but in this context, it's not about neglecting others. It's about self-preservation. It's about avoiding that bitterness that comes from looking back and realizing you never You never played your own game.
Okay, so let's say you're listening and you're nodding along. You feel the pinch. You accept that, yes, you've earned the right to pivot, but how do you actually know what to do?
That's the million-dollar question.
Because I feel like follow your dreams is the most useless advice in the world if you spent 20 years suppressing them. You forget what they even look like.
And that's the problem with so much of the modern self-help industry. It assumes you know the destination. Gaston assumes you don't. That's why she breaks down the terminology into 3 very distinct buckets: vision, dream, and goal.
I found this so helpful. I really did.
Hmm.
Because I use those words interchangeably all the time. But she separates them.
Think of it like a road trip, okay? The vision is the destination, or actually it's more like the type of traveler you want to be. It's identity-based. I am a creative person, or I am physically strong.
Got it. So I am a writer would be the vision.
Then the dream is the vehicle. It's the specific aspiration that proves the vision. I want to publish a novel.
Okay, and the goal.
The goal is the map and the gas. It's the how. I will write 500 words a day for the next 6 months. See, most people jump straight to the goal without checking if it even aligns with their vision.
Or they get stuck in the dream without a map.
Exactly. And to help people find that vision, she uses an exercise called the Dreamscape. Now, I've done visualization stuff before. You close your eyes and imagine winning the lottery. But this is different. It's almost aggressive in its detail.
It has to be. If you just say, I want to be a successful writer, your brain has no idea what to do with that. It's just too fuzzy. Gaston asks for, high-definition data.
Let's play this out. If I were doing a dreamscape exercise and I said, okay, in my dream life, I wake up happy and I write for a few hours, Gaston would probably fail me.
Oh, immediately. She'd ask, what time is it? What does the room look like? Who is making the coffee?
Okay, so it's 6:30 a.m. The sun is hitting the floorboards. I can smell hazelnut coffee brewing downstairs. I'm wearing these really comfortable wool socks. I sit at a mahogany desk.
Now we're getting somewhere. Because when you engage the senses, the smell, the touch, the sight, you trick your brain into thinking this reality is possible. You're moving it from fantasy to what she calls a memory of the future.
A memory of the future. I love that. But here's the trap I think people fall into. They visualize the mahogany desk, they get all excited, and then Monday morning hits and they do. Well, nothing.
Because the motivation just fizzles out.
And that's because they haven't dug deep enough into the why, the motivation. Gaston uses a technique for this called 6 layers deep.
This one is so annoying. I mean, effective, but really annoying. It's basically toddler logic applied to life coaching.
It strips away all the superficial reasons. You ask, why is this important? And then whatever answer you give, you just ask why. To that answer, you do it 6 times.
Let's try it. I'll be the skeptical empty nester. My dream is I want to start a bakery.
Okay. Why is that important to you?
Because I love baking, and everyone says my cookies are great.
That's layer 1. Why does it matter that your cookies are great?
Well, it would be nice to make some extra money on the side.
Layer 2. Why is making that extra money important right now?
So I don't have to ask my husband for money every time I want to buy something nice for myself.
Layer 3. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Right.
Why is it important not to ask him?
Because I feel like a child when I have to ask for an allowance.
Layer 4. Keep going. Why does feeling like a child bother you so much?
Because I'm 50 years old and I want to feel capable.
Layer 5. Why do you need to feel capable?
Because if I'm not capable, then I'm just waiting around to die like my mother did.
Boom. Layer 6.
Whoa. Okay. That went from cookies to existential dread really, really fast.
But that's the point. If your motivation is just, cookies are great, you'll quit the first time you burn a batch. If your motivation is, I refuse to lose my agency like my mother did, you will run through a brick wall to make that bakery happen.
You need emotional leverage on yourself.
Exactly.
So you find the vision, you dig for the fuel, and then reality just hits you in the face. The source material calls them the mighty culprits, the reasons we don't start. And the big 2 are always time and money.
Gaston calls these the societally acceptable excuses.
Right.
If you say, I just don't have time, everyone nods sympathetically. But she challenges this relentlessly, especially for her target demographic.
I have to play devil's advocate here, though. Just because the kids are gone doesn't mean these women are sitting around eating bonbons. There's still a house to manage, maybe aging parents, maybe a part-time job.
Oh, for sure.
Does she really think time just magically appears?
She acknowledges the busyness, but she argues it's a habit, not a necessity. Its Parkinson's law work expands to fill the time available.
Hmm.
When the kids leave, many mothers subconsciously fill that void with other people's problems or unnecessary chores just to feel useful again. She's just asking them to audit that time.
And what about money?
Her stance is pretty simple. Do what you can, where you are, with what you have. Most dreams don't need a venture capital injection to start. You can write a book on a free laptop. You can start a business from a kitchen table.
But the text suggests that time and money are, a lot of the time, just decoys. They're the bodyguards for the real villain.
Perfectionism.
This is where Gaston tells on herself. I loved her for it. She admits she had a historical romance novel that she started writing in, wait for it, 1997.
1997. And she just sat on it for decades.
Think about that. That is 20 plus years of, I'm working on it.
And the tragedy is, she wasn't lazy. She was editing, she was tweaking, she was making it perfect. We often wear perfectionism like a badge of honor, like it means we have high standards.
Oh, absolutely.
Gaston reframes it, she says. Perfectionism is just fear in a tuxedo.
Fear in a tuxedo.
It looks fancy, but it's just stalling. It's the fear that if you actually finish the thing, people might judge it. As long as you're still working on it, you're safe.
To get past that fear, the workbook introduces contingency planning, which it sounds very corporate, but it's actually really calming.
It's the F-then method. The brain panics when it faces the unknown. So you just remove the unknown. You write down, if I get overwhelmed by the website technology, then I will hire my nephew to set it up for me.
If I get rejected by a publisher, then I will self-publish on Amazon. Simple as that.
You make the decisions while you're calm, so you don't have to make them when you're panicking. It turns a potential crisis into just a checklist.
So we've handled the psychology, we've handled the excuses. Now let's look at the actual strategy, the roadmap. Gaston uses the SMART goal framework, which is pretty standard stuff, but she nests it inside this bigger picture.
Right. So you have the dream, run a marathon, that's the headline, but you can't just go do that today. So you break it into a component.
Run a half marathon.
And then you break that into a SMART goal. Run 3 miles 3 times a week at an 11-minute pace.
It connects the daily grind back to the big identity. I am running this mile because I am an athlete.
Precisely. But here is where the technical papers for her accountability and coaching program get really interesting. She doesn't just hand you a worksheet and wish you luck.
No.
She has built an entire ecosystem around this, broken into 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month tracks.
Why the different timelines? Why not just a single dream program?
Because human psychology changes over time. The 3-month track is for the launch, that initial burst of excitement and energy. But the 12-month track, that's for what they call the valley of despair.
That's the point where the novelty wears off, isn't it?
It is. Around month 4 or 5, the excitement is gone, the results aren't visible yet, and it's just hard work. That's when most people quit.
Right.
The 12-month ecosystem is designed to bridge that exact gap. The technical papers mention all these tools like Ikigai charts for finding purpose and affirmation cards to rewire negative self-talk, but the real secret sauce, it's the community.
Which brings us to the A word, accountability.
The game changer. Gaston quotes her own mentor, Jeff Lerner, who gave her this piece of advice that just terrified her. Commit publicly.
That is the ultimate nightmare scenario for a perfectionist.
Oh, it is. If you just tell yourself you're writing a book, you can quit. No one knows. You save face.
But Gaston took the advice. She went on her Facebook fan page, which had actual followers, and she posted that she was finally going to publish that manuscript she'd been hiding since 1997.
She burned the boats.
She totally burned the boats. She created a situation where the pain of explaining why she failed would be greater than the pain of actually doing the work. That is positive social pressure. And the papers describe the Second Wind Facebook group as a safe place, which, it sounds soft, but I think it's actually incredibly strategic.
How so?
Well, if you're a 55-year-old woman telling your friends at brunch you want to become a YouTube star, they might look at you like you're crazy.
Or they'll say, oh, why bother? You're retired. Just relax. Which is poison to a dream.
Total poison.
Yeah.
You need a tribe that normalizes the ambition. In that group, starting a business at 60 isn't weird. It's Tuesday. It completely changes your baseline for what is normal.
So we have the pinch to wake us up, the dreamscape to set the GPS, the 6 layers to fill the gas tank, and the public accountability to keep us on the road.
It's a complete system. It acknowledges that willpower, just isn't enough. You need structure.
You really do.
There was one final exercise in the workbook that I want to leave our listener with. It's a bit morbid, I'll admit, but I think it's the most powerful thing in the entire stack. the epitaph.
Ah, yes. This is the ultimate clarity tool.
Gaston asks you to imagine walking through a cemetery, and you find your own tombstone, and you have to choose what's carved on it. Option A is a story of safety. She kept a clean house. She didn't make waves. She lived a quiet life.
And option B reads, she heard the call and answered.
That's the choice. It's not about whether you succeed or fail at the business or the book. It's about whether you answered the phone.
And that brings us right back to the pinch. That feeling you have while washing the dishes, that's the phone ringing. The question is, are you going to let it go to voicemail again?
That is something to chew on. If you're feeling that pinch, maybe it's time to stop treating it like a pebble in your shoe and start treating it like a compass. Thanks for unpacking this with us.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.